Don't put so much thought, energy, and attention into dark and negative spirits. They love to gather around people who are scared of or obsessed with them. Sure, they exist, just like common criminals exist in the material world. But when you ignore them, leave them alone, or better yet, laugh at them, they will cause no trouble. Okay. While that is mostly true, I was taught by somebody who ran a paranormal investigation unit. Sometimes the most important thing that you can say to a ghost, a spirit, is hi. Sometimes they need just to be recognized. Because sometimes you'll see that little image in this corner of your eye, it's like way back here. And then when you go turn your head because, caught your eyes, it's gone. And you notice that keeps on happening. Say hi to it sometimes. Maybe that's all it wants. To say yin is feminine and also receptive, dark, or hidden does not mean that women ought to be passive or meek. Remember that these are philosophical ways of understanding the forces and energies of the universe. Women, like men, are healthiest when their personalities incorporate both yin and yang, both receptive and assertive qualities. This goes like with what I was saying in the previous box. Men and women are different but equal. And we have to honor, respect both genders. In my personal beliefs, what I did was I removed gender identification in a lot of things, such as tools. They'll say that certain tools have a female aspect and certain tools have male aspect. Well, I removed it. This means that my wand is a wand. It's not a male phallic symbol. No, it's a wand. Okay? Because I truly want to get past gender identification and get into, and get into spiritual work. Oh yeah, this one's good. The term dark goddess does not imply the goddess who is bad or evil, nor should this term be seen as a racist or ethically biased way. A dark goddess was simply one who governed the powers and forces of night, the subconscious, or who ruled over death and the underworld. In paganism, darkness is just as spiritually important as the values of light. Yeah, that is very important. My particular favorite goddess in my path is Kaliach, who is called the Blue Hag, the old hag, the Hag of Winter. She is the reason why Scotland is called Scotland, because of her. Scata. Anyway, a lot of people are going to, especially a lot of people that are new to paganism, they think death, darkness, and negativity, and they kind of shun them away, and they want to find something that's cheerful. My personal views on Kaliach is grandma. It's not meant to be disrespectful, but she is like grandma because she is full of experience. She is full of wisdom. She is loving. She's looking after the people younger than her, and she assists them when in certain ways that not a lot of people want to do. And you don't piss off grandma. Pissed off grandma is dangerous. That's why I have a great deal of respect for Kaliach, because I view her as like the grandma type. Okay. The god of monotheism is a complex spiritual figure. Don't assume that what you've read or been taught about this god form is complete. In many ways, the monotheistic god represents both the best and the worst qualities of human behavior. Actually, the same can be said about the pagan gods and goddesses, although pagans tend to see different gods as embodying different qualities. I call it the scars of Christianity because a lot of pagans were once Christian in my area. And we carry on this deep hidden scar, about God. And so we have to learn to heal that scar and move past the monotheistic God and open our eyes to a more wonderful, diverse group of gods if you are a polytheist. It's hard at times, it's a challenge, but it's something that I believe we all must learn, we all must face in our pagan path. Okay. Not all the gods, or for that matter, the goddesses of ancient mythology, were moral and honorable. Here are just a few examples. Hermes looked out for thieves. Kali demanded human sacrifice, and Zeus was a rapist. Remember, the gods of mythology have weaknesses just like human beings, but that doesn't make their behavior excusable. This is why I think it's very important that we follow a complete pantheon. We don't intermix gods and goddesses from different pantheons, because there are stories for each of our gods and goddesses. And so if we just kind of throw them all together, these storylines don't mesh well. And we have to research into the gods and goddesses more the best we can. The Greeks and the Romans, theirs is written out very well. If you are a believer in Celtic ways, it is harder to find information on certain gods and goddesses. But we do have to learn all that we can so that we understand their personalities, their strengths, and their weaknesses. Spiritual guides can help you connect with your own inner wisdom, but don't become superstitious about the role they play in your life. Their advice, like that of any other friend, must be in accordance with your own intuition for it to be truly useful. You remain responsible for your decisions. Remember that spirit guides make mistakes like everyone else. A lot of people use animals as their spirit animals, their spirit guides. And there are so many people that are going to look at the symbolism of an animal as the primary importance. They could forget the message and focus on the messenger. And this particular part is talking about the spirit world. Not everything is going to be honest with you, and we have to learn to trust our intuition and look at the full picture. Pagans reject the idea that some spirits are demons who want to tempt their soul away from God. Because the goddess is of all things, it's impossible to be separated from her. Pagans see unfriendly spirits as more of a nuisance than anything else, but even as nuisance, they should be avoided. One thing that I've learned is that there are many different types of spirits. And I loved this lesson that I learned because there are humanoid spirits, there are animal spirits, and there are non-human, non-animal spirits. And you got to keep an open mind about everything because you cannot try to follow a stereotype. It's like if you're going to run a stereotype on all pagans, we're all different. It's not going to work. Well, same thing with the spirit realm. A spirit could be angry, could be nice. It could be an animal spirit. It could be a human spirit. It can also be a non-human spirit. Non-human, non-animal. And so we have to stay away from these closed-minded stereotypes to truly understand the spirit world that is around us. Scientifically minded pagans may not feel drawn towards working with spirits or fairies as part of their spiritual practice. Don't assume, however, that pagans who do engage in spiritual contact are superstitious or ignorant. Remember that brilliant people such as the eminent psychologist Carl Jung have believed in, revered, and learned from spirits, and so can you if you keep an open mind. A lot of people believe that science and religion are at war, that they cannot coexist, and I disagree with that. I believe that once science has proven something as factual, then it's still part of my beliefs, but it's as fact. Science can strengthen your pagan pathway because look at herbs for an example there. There were so many herbs that people used to heal, to help. And, a lot of people used to call it, just playing with the plants and all that. Well, scientists have slowly learned that, what the old wise ones knew was actually factual. So, chewing mint leaf when you're not feeling so good sometimes helps, and it's fact. Not all pagans even use the 4-element or 5-element system. Most druids, for example, don't think in terms of air, fire, water, earth, but in a more nature-based division of land, sea, and sky, with fire simply as a sacred center around which rituals are held. So don't assume that all pagans see things the way you do, or, for that matter, the way they're depicted in this book. When I learned about the 3 realms, the way the Celts think, that just blew my mind away because, a lot of the pagan books that I was getting were more Wiccan books, and there were a lot of things that were opposing each other. It was the Greeks that decided to divide everything up, earth, air, fire, and water, and spirit. But the Celts kept it more of a realm, and I liked that. Don't assume that paganism is easier than other religions just because pagans don't believe in an eternal hell. Religions that believe in hell say that if a person obeys his or her God, he will be spared from punishment. Paganism, on the other hand, maintains that you remain responsible for your karma no matter what God you worship. But karma is based on fairness and justice, never punishment. They used karma kind of as a blanket term here. You see, many pagans have different names for it. There is the threefold law, the laws of retribution. Okay. Some people say that karma is more of a Hindu concept and not a European pagan concept. And so they say, well, we're not into karma. And I agree with that part too. I believe in the laws of retribution. And so that's just my thing. I do not believe in hell. I do not believe in when I die I'm going to suffer and into eternal damnation. I believe that when I die, I will go cross over into Tirnanog, the land of the young, or Summerlands, and I will spend a time in there, and then I will return into another life cycle back on Earth during a different time period.